The Acres family of Broadlands Station won the Supreme Award for the Horizons region in the 2015 Balance Farm Environment Awards. When we visited in November 2015, William Acres and fiancée Laura Oughton were in the process of taking over the reins on Broadlands from William's parents, Hugh and Judy.
Families moved to New Zealand in 1875 and then bought up farms here in the 1880s with another farm down at Opiki. This is our family museum. By building this, we were able to get all our machinery that were taking space up in the older farm buildings and sheds and put it all together in one place, including both my brother and sisters. So it's all family only, and we don't take in anyone else's stuff. This is completely to preserve what we have and make sure it's kept in going order. Luckily, I've got a son, William, who's keen to carry on farming, family tradition, which is very pleasing. It makes it easy for us to be able to move on and let them have a fair go in running the place.
We run pure Herefords, 3,000 breeding cows, run a Hereford bull with them. Perrendale ewes, 6,000 ewes, 200 hoggets. We don't make the hoggets. We only bring in 20 rams a year and about 2 or 3 bulls a year. So that's all the stock we buy. We don't buy any other lambs. And we don't have any dairy grazers or anything else like that. It seems to be working with what we've got with our country of 70% hard hill country, 15% medium rolling and 15% flat. It works quite well with what we're doing. No vaccinating of the ewes. We don't drench ewes. We give the lambs 5 and 1 at docking time. Cows don't get drenched. R2s get BVD'd and coppered. Back in the 04 floods, we had major problems, and we've learnt from there the process is what we can do to help eliminate that. We aren't with the one plan, but we have the Sustainable Land Use Initiative slurry plan, and that's we've just received the plan back. From there, we can make some major steps to help improve that erosion and leaching and things like that. You get your recommendations, and from there we get to go through and we can pick what's most suitable for us and what's going to work in our environment. At the moment, I'm looking for next year to put some poles in some major erosion areas.
I've been brought up next to a river all my life, somewhere along the way, and we know what sort of works in the way of trying to hold the banks. And I've found that macrocarpa trees, which I've planted probably 1,000 a year, first and foremost for river protection, and if I get a bit of timber out of it in the finish, well and good, that's a bonus. But first and foremost for the river protection, the macrocarpas are here. I can grow them. These are probably about 30 years old. I will cut them down and lay willows underneath first, and then these trees will have a wire rope, probably at least 16mm wire rope, with a dead man, which is a block of timber tied to the wire rope, going back under the fence here, back through to the trees, and that will lead on to 2 or 3 trees, maybe 4, and then I'll do another dead man. So we've got several dead men well away from the water's edge, and that will give the willows a chance to shoot up, take hold, and get a good root system in amongst the macrocarpas.
We finish everything here. Very few go to the sales. We supply to Ansco Foods on a Waitrose contract, about 1,300 to 1,400 of our lambs. So they're on that strict criteria, and the rest just go on a non-contract to them as well. Herefords are ideal in our country here, up on the hills. They're not a big animal to help reduce the erosion. You get ideas, going to see other people and other farms, you get a lot of great ideas, and you just got to look at what we've got here and if it's going to work. So a lot of times I've been, that'd be great, but it's just, yeah, we're probably better off how we're going.
This is one of our really good up-and-coming lines there. This is one that's coming out next year, so that's a nice sheep beef one. I work for Agri-Seeds as the agronomist for the Lower North Island. I run a lot of trials from Taranaki to Gisborne to Wellington, basically. I'm engaged to Willie. We're getting married next year and sort of help him out a bit with his cropping and pasture. No. Imagine if it all looked like this.
Yeah, but then...
This here is a trial, and basically we're proving some of our cultivars that are looking good. So post our breeding trials, so we bring them out onto commercial farms and make sure they're doing the job. So that's 771.
Yep.
XS. This is my favourite.
What have you got in here?
The main part of this paddock's Shogun hybrid ryegrass, and we've got also Tuscan red clover and some white clovers in there as well. We're aiming on our flats for high quality finishing pastures. We've got a couple of lines in here that are outstanding, but you know, this is just one of the steps in the whole thing. It sort of takes about at least 12 years to get them commercial, and I think we're at about year 10 now. I've got these kind of trials all over the country, and what we're looking for is to make sure that they work all across the country. So they basically pick up any issues pre-release, and we look at the different yields across the seasons, what they do under grazing pressure, and yeah, eventually persistence as well.
Someone approached me over a year ago now about entering the Balanced Farm Environmental Awards. Before that I was very ignorant and I didn't know a lot about it until I started getting more involved with it, understanding how important it is in the farming environment, what it actually means and how useful it is. It just opened our eyes at what sort of job we're doing here, and without that knowledge of that, to show that we are heading in the right track and what we're doing in erosion and nitrate leaching. And I mean, the motto, what they say is, what we're doing now, can we still do it in 100 years? And that's a great way to look at it. You've got to think ahead. Are we heading in the right direction?
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.